Look at these cruisers, just
the glow.
Rested, relaxed,
well rested,
rejuvenated. Justin Zwick, Bobby Carpenter, Nicole Cox finally back to join us after their jet setting around the world. Nicole, it sounded like a fantastic Buckeye cruise for cancer.
It was. I don't know how they do it. Their team, it's like 8 people, and they've been doing this for 18 years now. And every year, somehow, they make it even better. When you're already just thinking, like, this is the best ever. It can't get any better than this, you know? And I don't know. It's just more special every year, and it's such a great reminder of, like, what's important in life. Just to get together and raise money for such a great cause.
What was the final tally there, Bob?
It's somewhere around 4.5.
4.5 and $12.
And $12.
And I know that because I was the one.
That was your $12?
I was the one, and Doug was the 2 at the very end, which you don't get to see us in the picture they put out there, but we were up there. But yeah, it's $12 at the end. Yeah,
that first comma.
Yeah, you want to be the first. Yeah,
the first comma.
I was hoping they'd go from straight on, not from down the road. But no, it's all good. Yeah, it was like 4.5. I mean, you talk about 18 years, $45 million, I think, in 18 years that they've been able to raise there for the hospital.
What'll be interesting is, I mean, they've want to, not that you ever want to hold anything back, but they've progressed it slowly, 100,000 or so a year.
Mm-hmm.
The last couple of years, like pressing $4 million was a huge deal. And so I think next year you'll probably get to 49. So then on 20, I'm guessing is when you'll
hit the $5 million.
That 5.0 mark, which would be pretty darn big.
Just planning it out?
Well, I just
one step at a time.
It's really hard. I mean, to make those big jumps when you get so high, that's pretty tough. So they might be able to get close to it, but I don't know if you could get.
And if they don't raise more, I think it's fine because
they're still doing quite a lot.
I don't know, Nicole. You said something about the standard being the standard earlier. So
that's where I just.
Well, new events pop up every year in different communities, and I mean it's pretty amazing to see. Just like the big time. I mean, AJ Angelo has a 24-hour music marathon. Like $300,000 he raised.
It's incredible.
I mean, it's just so these people from all over the state who have been on and in different states.
Dizzle, the DJ, raised like $25,000 on his own. I mean, that's a lot
everybody.
of money.
Everybody who's been on that boat looks for a way, in the off season, of not the cruise to
the other 51.
To try and do something to raise money that goes towards all that. So it's just an amazing group of people, and everybody cares about finding that cause.
You guys get some good weather, good times? What?
It was. The only thing that was a little rough the last day was super windy, so we couldn't get into our
It's like day and a half. It got a little windy the night before.
And it was like warm in Columbus, and it was cooler down there, I guess. But
I wouldn't even say cool. We laid out on the boat, and we made the best of it. We just spent the day on the boat and laid out, and it was actually really nice.
The wind it was the choppiest it had been when we were
in a while.
In probably 10 years, 10 or 12 years. I got a little seasickness that morning, and then once the boat stopped, I was good. We anchored up and just hung out. I was like, I'm not as bad. I'm like, it's because we're standing still now. So once that happened, then we were good. And so you went out there, and I told myself I wasn't going to have a drink, and then Schleichs talked me into a spicy marg. And so
you told yourself you weren't going to have a drink.
That's when you start feeling better after that.
I feel like we're starting a story with a lie.
The good news was that morning, I'd worked out. I sat in the sauna. Schleichs and I actually did our interview from the sauna the day before. First morning juice ever sauna live.
Making history, baby.
Interview. Until my phone overheated, and but we got about 9 minutes in, so I was like, all right, that's good.
Well, I felt like the week before you had also made history because it sounded to me like you were interviewing AJ at like the baggage claim.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that interview.
Because I'm in there, I'm filling in for you.
Yeah.
It was.
Are they actually waiting for bags now?
Yes, that was because he was up the next day.
Lane number 5.
So
that's where we were.
Yeah, because that was Thursday. It was the first day I was gone. So I've got to get this done. I did not want to leave it to chance to get on the boat. First night, everybody's like, I am Legend Zombies.
A lot of stuff going on.
You want to check it off.
So we were sitting there. I'm like, dude, we've got 20 minutes till our bags come out, and it's great. And we got into some unbelievable things. AJ, the Epstein files, whether he was worried or not, whether they'd come out, whether he was going to be on it. I mean, there was a lot of different things, Nicole, that we kind of unpeeled the layers. And then it was much ado about nothing because the list didn't even get out. So AJ's name is safe at least for another couple of weeks.
Wow, so that's the worst part then. He has to keep living in fear.
Just
living in fear.
Okay.
So it was good. Yeah, so I did. It was actually at the baggage claim in Fort Lauderdale Airport. Hey, listen, you could be a CSI. You're sleuthing.
I'm just looking for clues,
You really were.
Listening for clues.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, that was impressive. So that was good. It was fun getting to experience the guys out there.
So who are the new entrants on this boat?
So I'd like to do it by position because
How many were there?
there's 7.
Okay.
7 guys. We had 2 linemen, Tegra and Carson.
Okay.
They were there. And, I've never really even heard Tegra talk that much, and I'm around him quite a bit. So to get 5 to 7 minutes on an interview with him was pretty amazing. Carson was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
He did a great job.
You have to scale Carson back.
You do. But it was cool, like, listen to him and talk about everything that happened and just, like, his relationship with Seth, how much he cares about him and, like, how much he learned from him. It was great. I think people got to maybe see him a little bit more, and I'd never seen that side of him. He's a small-town Wisconsin guy, which is kind of similar to maybe how I grew up and some of the things that he did, some of the things that I did that maybe the kids aren't really into anymore. But he has had a good time with life, and so he was a lot of fun. Who else was on offense that we had there? Lincoln Keenholz.
Yeah.
So you had to see, the young Link run around. He had his shirt off a lot, looking good, in pretty good shape. He really enjoyed.
If you look like Lincoln Keenholz, you should never wear a shirt.
Yeah, of course not. I mean,
It's like Bobby Carpenter.
Well, some people say he looks like a younger, better-looking version of me. I said, I'll take that. I mean, Lincoln's a handsome dude.
Yeah.
I helped recruit him when he was here, sitting here with his mom and his brother. He was talking to him about his family, what they're up to, plans, schemes, all those great things. Then I think we're on to defense, if I'm not mistaken. No, yeah, because Cardinal Tate did not go. Yeah. So then we had, on the defensive side, we had Kenyatta. I'm sorry, I'm like thinking about the guys from us. Jack Sawyer, JT. We had Kenyatta.
That's a different boat.
Yeah, we had Kenyatta. We had Lorenzo Styles.
Caleb
Downs, and then Davidson Igbenusson. So a heavy defensive back flavor, if you will. And it was
some flavor. David Old showed up to the airport in some pink slippers.
He had his
awesome.
basically like those little jobs that Marvin had on.
Yeah.
He had a pair that I would say is akin to those.
They were great.
But the guys were all great. They did a great job. They got into it. They had fun. They were like super engaging. And it's the same stuff every year. Like, gosh, these guys are just so great. They're so smart. They're like well spoken. They're articulate. They talk to you. And they understood about it. And so some of the guys were like donating money back.
They did.
It's pretty cool.
So sweet
to see them understand and like it. And I tell them, I wish I was as mature as they were at 20. I know
they are so mature.
Yeah, I know I was.
Caleb was reading a book in the airport on the flight home. I was sitting across from him, I'm like, how are you reading a book right now? I'm like wanting to fall asleep in the chair. I'm dead tired, and he's sitting there just reading a book about making himself better.
He probably wasn't enjoying the cruise the same way that you were, Jason.
Well, probably not. I feel like Carson maybe was the one that probably enjoyed himself the most.
Not a lot of the guys are 21. And so
we're on international water.
You are, and I just think that
I forget about that.
I think that there's
so
just
far out of that.
because you're under the public. It's
100%
spotlight there. So I told the guy I told the guys this: you can't ever be just the biggest spectacle. Just don't make a spectacle of yourself, and you'll be fine. If you want to be number 2, that's cool.
That's the sweet spot.
It is.
Just make sure somebody's worse off than you.
Make sure someone's worse than you. Just
have some every
drinks, night. Relax.
Order some shots for somebody else that you think's going down your path, and just get them out in front of you.
They can race you to the finish line.
Exactly.
Just take a step on back, and then you're good.
That's right.
Just
throttle down a little bit.
Sometimes Nicole, you need to set someone out there. It's like a dog with a frisbee. You got to throw
I guess
it out.
I've never thought about it that way.
Think of all.
I've just always thought
like
about being
races.
a great representation.
100%.
Yeah. Well.
And so a great representation means being anonymous at times.
Sometimes it means just hurting the other.
Yes.
Representation.
So sometimes you've got to.
It's like look over here. Yeah. I'm over here drinking.
You got to assist somebody in getting there. But those guys, they had a good time, I think, and did it very responsibly.
They were great, and to watch them in the theater, they were raising money for Fund a Need, which is very special because anything we donate is matched. So it's just raising double the money, and every single one of them stood up to donate money. It was just so nice. And then Carson and Lorenzo both, we gave them Roosters hats for doing our day at sea, just as a thank you for taking the time. And they were just wearing them the whole week. And you know how that is for me. I'm just like, guys, that just means the world. They brought their own hats, but nope, they wore the new one. And it just meant so much.
You've made
Bob's got the shirt on.
Awesome new hats, which is
I love it.
I honestly didn't even think about this.
It's a great shirt.
It felt so good. I just Put it on.
It's a great
It's
shirt.
a good shirt. It's my favorite color.
Wing tasting shirt. Nobody really died this year on the wing tasting, which was good. Carson was great.
I was so proud of him, and just for stepping up there. And then my mama heart was like, I need you to sit down and not take another.
Get him some milk.
He ate one, and Luke, the MC, just started asking him questions. So, what's your mom and dad's name? You have any siblings? And he's like, couldn't put words together. It was
because we do like a hot one.
It was
scene,
hilarious.
And, like Joel.
Joel goes and finds all the hot sauces from the islands and brings it on and
Joel is such an important part of our team. He is in the kitchen operations and he works all year on making this.
I thought he was
Doctor.
I thought you just called him Dr. Sauce.
Well, that too. But he for the hot ones, he researches a hot sauce in each port stop we have. He just does such a great job, and he makes all the wings by himself on the ship. He made sure they got on the boat this year.
Well, that's step one.
That's step one.
I mean, that was hysterical, and I mean, he was traumatized from that. He's like,
sure.
Every single day, he's like, now I have the phone number of the driver. I was like, okay. I was like, it will be fine. We will make it work no matter what. But he's so passionate about it, so we're just.
If someone is more concerned about the preparation, the planning than you, that's saying
something. He is.
Because
he's the best.
He's the one that has to make the wings.
Yes.
He is.
I mean, God bless
the
Nicole,
best.
but she's not. I mean,
I'm not making the wings. No, he's making the wings, and
Magic's.
everybody's so excited for those. And so it was incredible. It's a family. Coach Day and his family were there the entire time, and just the most outgoing, friendly. RJ gets up and speaks every year, and he does such a great job. It's wonderful.
So I think it was his daughter and the one dropped the mic thing went off on the last song. It was pretty awesome.
We did this. Was it called Drop the Mic?
Drop the Mic. Yeah.
So I guess there's this new game out there. It's a card game where you flip it over. The rules were very ambiguous.
Yeah. There's a word on the cards.
Are no rules?
There was no rules. It was initially you flip it over and let's say the word is stay, and so you either had to think up a song name with stay in the name or lyrics that you would sing with stay in it. Well, then Luke was not accepting names. Everybody's just singing them. And it was great. So stay with me. And, people would sing it. Everybody went back and forth. And we had two groups of players at the beginning. And everybody got in on it, answering them. Like, you cover the team a lot.
Yeah.
You know that David Singh-Bernuson isn't like the biggest talker.
Not at all.
But he yet grabbed the mic. And the catalog that we were pulling from was quite diverse. I mean, we had Kurt Coleman singing. You have a daughter, Liberty Bibberty, who I'm sure has seen Little Mermaid.
Absolutely.
I forget what the word was, but Under the Sea was. And by the way, Kurt Coleman was singing it in a Jamaican accent because he's like Sebastian.
Going full Sebastian.
Jamaican. And I'm like, so we have that. We had gospel. We had Phil Collins. You had Carson grab it, sing some country, and then Davidson would pull out some rap of guys that I'd never heard of. It looks like we're really getting a full breadth of experiences today. But Davidson grabbed it like 3 times.
Yeah.
And it was unbelievable.
Yeah, that's great.
We did it the last
Even
day.
Tegra sang some of them. So we did it the one day. And then the day at sea, I come out after feeling a little under the weather, get to the pool deck. And this is maybe what inspired me, was I walk up there. And was it Mia?
Yes.
She's singing. She 8th grade. I want to say one's 6th, one's 8th. I can't.
Okay.
I was so far away and I was a little hazy still. But she sings like the whole first verse. I don't know what the word was.
I don't either.
It
got a little out there. I lost one time. I'm like, they didn't even say the word. Like they just sang a song.
You're not.
But nobody cared at that point in time because everybody's singing along.
You're on the pool deck in front of like 300-400 people, and
great.
she sang the whole first verse to Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield.
Oh.
I'm like, and I'm sitting there I walked by Nina and Ryan.
Came out 10 years before she was born.
That's what I said.
That's
10 years.
So
that
cool.
thing was out when I go look at Ryan. I go, this was out when we were in college.
Yeah.
I go, you had what's her name, Lauren Conrad out there, and I guess there's a new movie where it's like the theme song, so that's why all the kids know it. But this was like LC, The Hills, and I go, and Nina looks at me, she goes, I don't even want to talk in front of people. I don't know where this came from.
I love it.
It was a great way to end that first.
It was so fun.
It was a lot of fun. Everybody loved it. Like Ryan and Nina are laughing. Their kids are having a blast. Dan Clorn, like you had like Dan Clorn up there singing too. Like
versus Son. Like it was Ryan Day versus RJ, Dan Clorn versus Tommy. It was awesome.
It was fun. Like if you ever want to get like to see like the players and coaches and their families like humanized.
It is.
Realize I know that you probably read people and they're like, oh, celebrities, they're just like you. And they're going shopping and doing things like they're all just real people. And if you can put them in an environment where everybody's comfortable, it's awesome to get to see them act like a father, a daughter, like all these players act like who they are, and it's really fun to see a less curated version of everybody.
It's a family. It really is. The cruise is a family experience, and I don't know, it's very special.
Nicole, you always come back from getting to meet these players or listening to Coach Day with like a new favorite. I mean, you have to pick one. For a Roosters Buckeye leaf from the cruise. Who'd you give it to? You're gonna schlag it up. I already know. So
all of them.
I am a little
love
bit.
them so much.
All of them.
I mean, what'd you
so
learn
great.
about
Okay,
these
so
guys?
here's there's two things. Carson probably.
I
Just
don't know.
for
Lorenzo in the interview dropped. I'm from Pickerington. We love to go to the Roosters.
I
over
love.
there.
Okay, and Lorenzo.
Unsolicited.
Okay, yeah, and Lorenzo. Seriously,
And I got this new
Lorenzo.
hat.
Yeah.
And but it was because those little gestures, them just wearing that hat, it was just so nice, and it just, they were jumping in, even if they didn't feel comfortable, kind of like, what's going on? Because it's intimidating. There are a lot of people, you're getting up on stage, and they just did it because they knew it was for a great cause. And so I think they were great. And then Kurt Coleman, I loved him being there. Last year he got super competitive.
Just last year?
And last year.
I feel like I've seen that.
And this year,
Well, he won this year, so
I
it was okay.
watched it, but I watched him really just tone it, like take a breath, know what decisions he should make. Bobby also did that during our wing tasting when someone accidentally put one of the hottest wings.
Oh,
in
that
the
is-
sauce.
It was confirmed.
That was
an accident.
That
Yeah.
was a great story.
That was a great
we
story.
thought there was some sabotage
So,
going on?
Well, he said, so he was sitting here, I was sitting here, and Doug was sitting here, and he was up doing his thing, and he comes back, and in that time, one of the guys who was eating a hot one
like the hottest wing, not
kind of
the
like
Roosters
set
sauce.
it down on his tray, not thinking like, oh, Bobby's probably done, or not even knowing whose it
Like
was.
thought
Still
that
eating
person
lunch.
left.
And he just set the wing down. So Bobby sat back down and goes, takes a bite, eats it, and he's
like a big bite.
looks at Doug and I was like, did you guys put this hot sauce on? And like Doug and I didn't even see the guy
Then
put
he's
the wing
standing
down.
up,
Had
he's pacing.
no idea.
You can see the steam
Oh,
coming
it
out of his
was
ears, and you're like, we're
great.
going to see
Here we
which
go.
way this is going to go. And guess what?
And Derek, who
He
set
took
the
a-
wing down, is
yeah.
just dying laughing because he didn't mean to
And
do
then
it.
he's
He
saying
just
he did it on purpose,
well-
just to add a little fuel to the fire, which I did not think
no,
was
I
a
don't
smart
think he
choice.
knew what he was doing.
And and Bobby just took
Yeah,
a
he
breath.
took it. He handled that well.
He handled it great. It could have gone
It
one
was
way or another, but
maybe
good
the
choices
surprise of
were
the
made.
cruise.
Teachable moment.
It
Teachable
was.
moments.
It was a
Teachable.
teachable moment, and that's
In
why
the
I'm giving him credit
past-
for it. I
in
love seeing those.
The past, they may have MF somebody, yelled at some
something,
people,
yeah.
yelled at Nicole. She would have started crying. I would have grabbed Derek and held
Yep.
him against the boat.
But you could see that in his eyes. the
Oh, it was
contemplation.
there.
The whole
He was
catalog of
contemplating.
options. But last year I did the hot wing. The last 2 years I've done it, and this year I was like, you know what? I don't need to do that.
We're older.
I've done
Got
it a
nothing to
couple of
prove.
years. I go, Carson's gonna, and AJ hopped up there. So
Yeah,
AJ,
Yeah.
took the hottest one.
because his son told him, Dad, don't be a coward. Like it's just like,
And he really did. I was like, hey, you don't have to do that. They're not
It's like,
even
nope,
on the boat. They don't
sorry.
even know.
They don't know. Don't know. When they asked me, I want to be able to tell them. So they're all doing it. It's like, okay. So I walk back and sit down, and we had the to-go boxes, which were they brought out the tasting. So we had
Korean barbecue.
Korean barbecue,
Hot. Parmesan garlic.
Parmesan garlic,
And then
and Carolina Gold.
yeah,
Yeah.
Carolina Gold. Yeah.
And so like the hot was in there. I was like, okay. So I'd had them all except for I had one Korean barbecue left. And I
Which is
thought
delicious.
when I got up, I'd eaten the last hot one. And it's Roosters hot. So it's hot, but it's not
Yeah.
Bourbon,
No.
it's not gonna kill you. I don't enjoy eating those normally, but I'm like, I'm hungry, so I ate them anyway. And then when I came back, there was mysteriously one in there. And I was like, I thought I ate them all, but I didn't. And then as soon as I ate it, the spice on it wasn't the Roosters hot spice
Yeah,
sauce.
it's something else.
And then
Yeah.
it kept accelerating. Like this is not good.
Did you guys do
And
this?
that's why I thought Doug and Justin set me up. And then Vince was like, nah, man, Derek just threw one off his
Yeah.
fork over here.
Yeah.
I was like, unintentionally, I don't think he did it on purpose. I'm like, all right. I was like, I'm just gonna go downstairs. I need to get some drinks right now.
Yeah. He was moving fast.
Yeah.
He got up out of his chair. I was like, oh boy.
Because it
what
wasn't
happened?
slowing down. I
Yeah.
could feel it. We had accelerated past the point of Roosters. It did not taste like your guys' normal sauce.
No.
I identified
wasn't.
that early on.
We went through a lot of milk, but it was
Now,
fun.
were
They're
there
good laughs.
Were there tears or
No, I don't-
sweat from
I
the
don't
eyes,
cry.
as Bert
Probably
I would
calls it?
say
Probably a little sweat.
anger, sweat?
I don't. I don't sweat from. I don't know how people cry and do that. I just feel it in my mouth.
Yeah.
she said.
I'll get a little
Yeah.
sweaty.
So it just my mouth is on fire, and all I needed was about I drank some milk, and I think I maybe even had a White
a
Russian.
cookie.
I didn't have it.
No, I ate the cookies that you brought over. I'm like, oh, Nicole brought cookies over.
That was day one of the boat. I still had 4 more days to make sure I was in peak physical condition. So I saved cookies for like 2 or 3 days left. A day left.
You have to make good choices.
I did, and so I went down and then had some more Tito's and sodas, and I got back to be a good spot, and we were fine. And everything worked out.
Yeah, he didn't
It's
yell.
a great story.
It was good.
You have to tell my wife this.
Okay.
Because I don't think she would believe you if this would have happened.
I almost didn't believe it, but I was there
I'm
to
not
witness
sure
it.
that I believe it.
I know. No, that's why I
It's
brought
a
it up.
well-rehearsed story, for sure.
There's a time when I would have
Mm-hmm.
probably, like, proverbially or actually flipped one of those tables over.
Well, but now you've got to set the standard for the younger Buckeyes up there.
It really
And
was.
he
I felt bad because Carson was up there. Luke is peppering him because she's like,
He can't talk.
Yeah.
He's trying to talk. So get the man some water. Get him milk.
Yeah, he was amazing. And all the new guys, it's just really great to see them being such leaders and believing in the cause and taking the time to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And just like joining in on the wing tasting. It's so I really enjoyed all of them.
It's amazing. Carson looked like the Cookie Monster. He's like, and there's like crumbs. Like,
Yeah.
It was like how Cookie Monster eats.
And I'm looking at him, I see the sweat, and I was like, okay, here we go. We have some cookies, we have some milk, Pepto, we have all the things.
Handing out Pepto that came out this year.
The thing is, like, I will say this, it's always just, I don't cry, I don't do that. Like, even on the other end, I'm fine. I don't like it.
On the other end.
I could drink that bottle of hot sauce. It's not going to impact me other than the fact that my mouth is going to feel so uncomfortable. I want to cut my tongue out and like take a Brillo pad because you cannot scrape. Like, I'm drinking. Why is the flavors not going away?
Yeah.
I'm just holding ice cubes in my mouth and it's just like melting in there. It's
Well,
awful.
water makes it hotter, Bob. You got to be careful.
And that's why I wanted to get the vodka to get it as a higher specific heat. So
It's too bad that they can't solve that issue on the boat with these.
well,
The
they didn't have
mozzarella
these
sticks.
because
I
it's
know.
a 5-tool player. They're $3 all day long. They're the best appetizer you're going to find for Appetizer Tuesday. And there's no better way. Some people are on spring break. We got some young kids in here. They're going to come through.
Buckeyes are on spring break.
Buckeyes are on spring break. Get yourself some of the Mott sticks because they're delicious and
They
they're
are.
fantastic.
100%.
They are.
That was one thing one of my buddies was like, oh, you're finally back to giving a Buckeye leaf this week. I said, yeah, but I had Roosters on the boat. He's like, you get Roosters every week and you're excited about it. I said, yes, I'm always excited about
good.
Roosters at any time, no
That
matter
was
when
my
I have.
lunch. I was like, what am I going to eat lunch today? It's just going to be the Roosters 4-pack in there.
Exactly.
I'm going to eat them all.
Silver Sea is so great too, and the Buckeye Cruise team just helping us coordinate all that. I don't know how the Buckeye Cruise team gets all. It's incredible.
They took a motorcycle
It's incredible
on
what
there
they
this
do,
year.
and every year I'm like, what are we going to get them as a gift to say thank you? I mean, it's so hard.
Well, it was. I'm glad you guys had a great week there.
We missed you guys.
I know we missed you too.
And did you have a good birthday?
I had a great
Ooh, that's
birthday.
right.
Thank you. Yeah, feel very old.
Feel
How old are you?
old.
40,
Aging rapidly.
41,
42.
42, you
Yeah.
beat me there.
I know.
Old man.
I'm glad that I'm still in the race, Jay-Z. That's all that we can really do.
Yeah, that's true.
Amen to that, right?
You're coming up. When's yours? March?
In May.
May.
Yeah.
May 1st? No,
12th.
May 12th.
Yeah. Well, time is going very fast. We're already into March.
Yeah, it'll be
We're already
here
into
before
spring
we
break.
know it. Yeah.
The Buckeyes are going to be practicing
St. Patty's Day.
next Monday. So when we have the live show at Roosters next week, we'll already have a practice to talk about. So
Nice.
not sure what time that's going to be yet, but we'll get to that later. We still have another half of this show to get to after Nicole goes about her day. Thanks to Nicole Cox for having us in at Roosters, as always.
Thank you
'cause it's
guys.
a fun, casual joint. We'll be right back.
Roosters has been so fortunate. We just want to be able to give some of that back to the community.
They donate to organizations that are near and dear to their heart, and we're so fortunate to have been with Roosters now for a long time.
They always go above and beyond to help support our foundation to further help veterans.
It's just a wonderful feeling to know that Roosters supports the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer.
All the folks at Roosters are just genuinely kind folks, and they want to make a difference.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Thank you, Roosters.
Thank you, Roosters.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Welcome back into Roosters. It's a fun, casual joint, and Berm is having a lot of fun with
Great time.
daylight
Having a
savings.
great
Great
day.
time.
You have
Hey,
feelings about this.
I just want to be clear. You were talking about the Little Mermaid. Were you talking about a dinglehopper or a snarfblat?
Talking about what?
Nothing? Okay. No, I'm fine.
What?
Look at this stuff.
Lord of what?
Isn't
Lord
it
of
neat?
Flies?
You're talking about the Little Mermaid.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
you-
yeah. That's right. Good. That's a good reference when she's like, "What is this?" And it's a comb and a brush.
A dingle hopper.
Yeah,
That's Scuttle. He doesn't know anything.
Yeah, that's Scuttle. It's not Sebastian. Let's be
Yeah.
clear. That's,
What are you guys talking about?
the fact that your girls don't watch Little Mermaid. I
I
mean,
try and keep them away from all princess movies.
my brothers and I watched it a lot. Now the fact that
I probably watched it back in
I
the
mean,
day.
my
but-
dad, I probably had a lot of questions because we played with My Little Ponies and watched Little Mermaid all the time.
I
I
had,
mean,
Turns out
Hey,
you did just fine.
I will
See-
tell you this: the movie that I
I'll have to
watched
get on
most recently.
I saw your tweet, and I want to talk about this. Let's save it till the end.
Okay.
Let's talk about football because I do want to get into the Iron Claw with you.
Oh, like,
Because as
I-
somebody with 6 brothers, like we could talk about it. I'm like a glutton.
Have you seen it?
Have I seen it? I've seen it like 40
He
times.
Okay,
rewatches.
so now you have a problem.
That's what I told him.
I watched $1 Million Baby one time.
Yeah.
A Star Is Born one time. I'm like, this is the worst ending ever.
It's
I need
brutal,
something
but
that-
I love it. It's
You're a
absolutely brutal.
psychopath.
He,
I always knew that, but it's
Yeah.
been confirmed.
Yeah.
he kept. Yeah, well,
It
we're
would
running
be-
the risk of
it
not
would be
talking
like-
about football.
Has there ever been? You guys were back on land on Friday when Ohio State had 10 assistant coaches available to the
and a
media
head coach.
and a head coach available. I'm trying to find out, and I know that this isn't carte blanche covering everyone's opinion, but have you ever seen some public opinion shift as quickly as it did about Matt Patricia after 20 minutes of
Because
conversation?
as you sat there and people were like, he seems, all the people like Nicole Tenti,
seems normal.
Like, he seems like super nice, engaging, talking like, and I told somebody, that's the guy who was my DC.
Mhm.
The dude that they talked about up in Detroit, I believe that those things happen. I'm not denying them. And I understand when people get new titles and it's their first time, maybe they act a different way. But I'm like, that's the dude who I talked to, when he had just got here. I'm like, yeah, he's going to be fine. Like, him and Tim Walton are talking. Like, there's no ego here. Like, how will he work with the other guys and this and that. I'm like, no, man, he's really smart. And the best really smart people I know that they don't know everything. It's like, hey, you got a good idea? Oh, I like that. Let's just put this in the
I'm
idea
gonna pull this number 2 pencil out from behind my ear and I'm gonna write that down.
with a
has
little
it-
finger cut off gloves. Maybe
Yeah.
he'll do the Bill Belichick.
Has it ever changed more dramatically? I don't know. That might.
In the course of one
No.
15-minute press conference.
I mean, I would say I tried to have an open mind. Now, I said a month ago with Bob, like, I thought it was surprising. It was unexpected. It was not the hire that I anticipated, and part of it is the perception outside. Again, I've never talked to Matt Patricia. You had. Seeing him and coming from the Belichick tree and what happened in Detroit, probably, is this a good fit for the college game? How's this going to work? Like, I try to keep an open mind about it, so I don't want to feel like I completely changed around. I am still surprised that Matt Patricia is the defensive coordinator at Ohio State, but I can also appreciate, after listening to him and Ryan Day talk about the interview process, what the big picture was and why he fits. I see that. Is it going to work? I don't know. We're going to see.
No. Yeah, we didn't know if Chip would work last year. Like, will it work? We think it will.
Yeah.
But then the other big piece is, because Ryan talked a lot about continuity. I think you heard Ryan talk about, hey, you brought in Matt Patricia, Tim Walton, co-DC. You look at Matt Guerrero, one of the brightest young minds. James Laurinaitis, obviously a great coach. Larry Johnson, the legend on the D-line. And I think it was a way, because Matt Patricia, for everybody that thought he was like, walk in here, I'm a huge a-hole, tell everybody what
do
to
it my
do.
way or get out.
Do it my way. Like, that would have been tough on this defensive staff that has been together, that these guys are very accomplished.
It was the number 1 defense in the country.
And they were the number 1 defense in the country. And there's a lot of really smart guys on there. So if you have someone coming in like, yeah, your ideas are good, but not good enough for me, and especially with Tim Walton, I was not worried that Tim would leave, but Tim's a Buckeye. He's a great recruiter.
He wanted to be a coordinator.
He wanted to be a coordinator.
There's no doubt about that.
And so I think with him, like, hey, him being the co-coordinator, like, Tim's not looking for other jobs, and he's probably not taking another job unless you're making him a head coach.
And unless the current situation is making him feel completely
Or that, yeah.
unappreciated, which
But
is not the case.
I walked into the office, Tim and Matt are talking, and it's like, dude, they're going back and forth, and like, it's like, this seems like something that's going to be positive. And you heard, Matt speak, Patricia speak like very fondly of Tim, and they were honestly on a staff. And I always go back and like, how much does this matter? Like, related and shared experiences. Paul Pasqualoni is one of the hardest. I mean, he is like a Saban-esque Urban Meyer guy. Before that was even a thing and people knew about that, I mean, he was like, we're going to be in here and work 1,000 hours a week.
Which is probably why going to work for Belichick after that made sense for a guy like
that. And that's probably
Patricia.
Bill's like, hey, this guy took a lot of heat. He can
He
take
understands.
a play.
Yeah.
But Tim was on that staff too. So like, those guys know what it's like to be for guys like that. And that's not Ryan at all. Like, hey, do your job, do it well, and I'll just let you do it how and when you want to do it. I mean, I'm not all like, I don't think you can coach remotely, but if you don't,
as long as you're recruiting well and your guys are playing well,
you are going to keep office hours.
It's great, but like Ryan's big on like in the summer, go with your family, handle recruits when they come through. But I don't need you here on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday if you don't have anything going on. So like, let's figure that out. And so I think that those guys talking about that, them coaching together, the shared experiences, all of those things, like that matters a lot. And I don't think Matt was coming in like my way or the highway, beat my chest. Like, dude, you get to come in here and coach Ohio State. These players are great. Like, I would love to have a ride.
Players are great. Coaches are great. You get to learn what do these guys do really well? What do you guys think? I mean, then it's just working together.
Well, and he was like, your wide receivers are ridiculous. That was the first thing. Like, well, Brian does a pretty good job with them, and they recruit
If
well.
you haven't heard.
It's like, these guys, like, I mean, this is better than any NFL room I've been in.
Yeah.
Like, well, because you usually have 2 guys like that, not like 5 or 6.
Even Matt Patricia even told a story about not just the relationship with Tim Walton, but coming back to lead James through his pro day workouts.
Yeah.
Like long time history around.
Oh, yeah.
You know, some of this is going to be, you know, learning. It's limited exposure. Tim Walton be the most extensive of that, but like they're not starting from ground zero here.
Yeah. Like there was, you've met the guy before. You understand, like, hey, I met with James Laurinaitis. James Laurinaitis was a pretty damn smart dude coming out as a senior in college. I'm guessing over the last 15 years, he's probably gotten even smarter and more experienced.
Probably learned a little more ball.
Yeah,
He's learned a little more ball, and he knows, like, he played for Spags. Spags' defense is crazy complicated. It's like, so if this dude was the signal caller apex of that, handling it, like, I'm guessing, and after I talked to him and realized, yeah, this dude is a grinder, pretty astute, and he's going to be able to add some things that maybe I've never really experienced before.
Well, the difference is you're being brought in to be a final piece and a complementary piece to a group of guys that are already there. Mm-hmm. You're not being brought in as a defense coordinator saying, this is now your defense, change it.
Or
it's
like
hey,
defense was 30 in the country last year. We need your help big time.
We think you can be the right guy to keep this going the way it was going, not you're the guy that we're expecting to come in and upset the natural order.
The New World Order.
Right.
Woo! Speaking of which, a lot has changed on the heel turns. You are getting excited for WrestleMania. I wonder how your son's taking that.
I heard about that on the boat, and a friend of mine was texting me who works with WWE, and I'm like, is your son going to be okay with Cena going heel? I'm like, dude, he is the hero, not the anti-hero. Like I
thought he retired.
This is his final WrestleMania in Vegas. That's another trip that I've got to go. I'm done with trips. Dude.
Bob,
I feel
if you need help,
sound like it.
No,
I will.
I don't want to go anywhere.
I will babysit.
Be at home.
I will take your place at Mania. Don't
I
worry.
just want to sit at home and watch movies that aren't Iron Claw.
Anyway, I got us sidetracked again. That would have been a nice segue for the end of the show. But in terms of the rosters, we could set. There's a lot to learn from the coaching staff, but the only position change that we got into here was James Laurinaitis is mentioning this right away. Matt Patricia is talking about the possibilities of what they can do with C.J. Hicks. Larry Johnson is then publicly confirming C.J. Hicks is on the edge.
It's like he bought him. Like he's C.J.'s mine now.
Yeah, he's mine.
He's in my room.
He's in my room.
What does that mean?
All thanks to Austin Ward.
Yeah, I didn't do
That's
it.
what I thought.
No,
when I saw that.
I didn't do it. CJ just had an opportunity, I think, to publicly make his case.
Fair enough.
Well, during bowl practice a lot, they send him down. Like, go work on. Oh yeah, he's pretty good. By the way, he's pretty good because he has certain traits that he possesses that are rare.
Yeah.
Now, everybody gets caught up sometimes, and it's amazing. This happens in life, happens in wherever. You have a guy who has a certain set of skills, and instead of like being like, hey, these unique set of skills, like I'm not asking Liam Neeson to be my accountant. Yeah. I'm asking him to go find my daughter
in Europe.
Eastern Europe. Okay. And that's when babysit my kids. Go kill some people and find the other one.
It's not a very good babysitter.
No.
He's actually a terrible father, too. Like, how many times can you lose your daughter?
Exactly. That's also true. But you focus on what maybe someone can't do. Like, this guy doesn't do this well, or he doesn't do that well. Like, let's see if we can build a role where we really accentuate what he does. And now I think Matt Patricia, he's a pragmatic coach. Okay, let's put him down there. Larry, we can do some 3-down stuff. You good with that? Boom. Okay, we've got a little different personnel, and we'll give you C.J. Hicks, and we can drop him because he knows all that stuff. But maybe he wasn't as quick to recognize and like just some of the things that off the ball isn't as good. On the edge, go.
He's not a read and reactor.
And that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I like how Matt was talking about with the Patriots. We always drafted last.
Yeah.
So we just took the best player and we figured out how to use them. You know, so you take their best traits, you take what they do really well, and you get them on the field, and you figure that out. And I think that's going to be huge here coming, once he gets to know these guys and what they do well, and what the coaches kind of relay to him. But having that mindset already is going to be really good.
He's a pragmatic dude. It's like, hey, this guy doesn't throw the deep ball well. Let's just throw it deep all the time. No, let's just figure out we can throw it deep some because you have to, but let's do what they do well. We can move out of the pocket. This guy doesn't run. Well, let's quit moving the pocket then. Let's sit him down. I mean, not that you want to be exclusive with that, but I figured things out. And so that's the best thing. And I'm happy for CJ. I think this will be well. That linebacker room is crowded, and so they've got guys they've got to get on the field there. And so it's going to be an adventure, I think, to kind of see how James even manages. You start talking about Sonny, and then you start talking about Peyton Pierce, and the freshmen that are coming in. Who else am I forgetting? Arvell Reese, who played a ton. Arvell is one of the unique guys who can probably do both.
Well, see, I think the CJ, I think it's like a trade. I think James is like, okay, you can have CJ, but leave Arvell alone.
Because James had to fight his
don't come
balls
after
off.
him.
I talked to Ryan about this, and everybody, and James, I can teach you right now to go learn how to rush the passer. You and me can go berm, all of us, and I'll teach you. We can work on all those things because it's a one-on-one thing. It's a little like I can teach you how to throw the football. We can work on throwing into a net all day long. Yeah. Now, teaching you to play quarterback's a little bit different. Teaching you to play linebacker where you've got to see things off. I go, so get him in the spring, let him play off the ball, see if he's picking it up. And if he's not, great. He can go play D-line still. If he does, well, now we have a bigger conversation. But you can't do that in the summer because you can't go get 22 guys out there and be like, hey, this is a run. This is a pass. This is when they're doing this. This is that. So it's a feel thing as much as anything.
Yeah, and CJ's always had the ability to just go out there and see ball, get ball, and that's what you have to do with him. When you're talking about what James wants to do with the linebackers, it's a totally different world. And I think the most interesting thing is that Matt Patricia seems very intent and content with the idea of this is your role. It's not. Yeah. It is a little bit antithetical to what we've expected out of Ohio State in the last few years, which is every player on the defense needs to know everything, right? Mm-hmm. That's not real life. You have to have a spot that you excel in. And for people who are going to expect C.J. Hicks to come out and automatically be Abdul Carter or Micah Parsons or whatever, that's also probably not right because he has not done this for very long. Yeah. But I've seen film from the bowl practices where he was absolutely dominating Ohio State's offensive line. And I also watched Ohio State's offensive line play against everyone else in the playoffs, and those guys did
pretty well.
And CJ was destroying them in practice. So
How are you getting practice film, Burm? I don't know. What's
I've seen it.
He paid a walk-on.
You paying somebody?
I've seen it.
Film. Oh boy.
And I'm just saying it's pretty good. And it's hey man, that's where he belongs. And we've been saying that for years. And I think sometimes it's just nice to get an outside voice, a guy to come. Yeah. And not that this was Matt Patricia's decision because it was already obviously in the works back in December, but to have a guy come in and say, you're right, let's do that, and not try to tinker too much.
Let me see the film on this guy. Oh, you know what? He looks pretty good down there. Let's go ahead and
Burm had to send it to Matt Patricia.
Yeah, that's how we got it.
I don't have Matt Patricia's phone number.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Well, I think that makes C.J. Hicks one of the more fascinating guys in spring.
I had to just get it yesterday.
It's all new. We're still working through the process there. But obviously quarterbacks is where we're all going to be focusing starting next Monday when they get out there. But setting that aside, I just think the potential and what
how impressive is Billy Fessler for a 29-year-old?
Well, he needs to get in the weight room a little more. I told him.
I don't care.
We got to bulk up a little bit.
He's got a big brain. You can tell.
Heartline. I go, listen, usually it's the receivers coach is the skinniest guy. It's position based. I'm like, Heartline used to look like a black version of Cardinal Tate. Now Brian's 205, 207.
All sleeved up now.
Jacked. I'm like, Billy, you can't be the weakest dude in there. And it'd be obvious. Okay, we got to start closing the gap.
Obvious, yeah.
We got to start
you're coming
start doing some traps or something just to make it look like
you're
something.
fighting
Keenan Bailey's pretty rocked up.
Oh, Keenan Bailey,
because
I'm talking about
he lives in the Woody and he doesn't stop working out. But you're not going to catch Carlos Loughlin.
Of course not.
You have 7-year NFL veteran Brian Hartline.
Yeah.
Tyler Bowen
is a huge Pierce.
Is a massive individual.
He's big. He's tall.
What more can Billy Fessler do? He's not going to catch any of them.
Yeah, but you can at least
close the gap.
Get in the game a little bit.
The only real improvement is to improve upon your former self. Seneca, Winner's Manual.
There you go.
Okay, And so
Winners, man.
we gotta move a little along the way. Like I never thought Hart would get that big. I told him, I was like, dude, Hart used to look like Carnell. And now, do you remember?
Probably lifts more now than he did back
100%.
then. Yeah.
100%.
Now, okay, I'm just going to say, I was talking to Brian on Friday when he was waiting his turn, and I'm going to say this publicly because I said it to him personally, but like he seems like a totally different person right now as far as just his focus and like what he learned in the last 2 years.
Because he's not an idiot. And you know what? When you've been given an opportunity, great opportunity, you can either pout and be like, oh, you know,
This should have been me.
Should
Blah,
have been me.
blah.
Or, dude, Chip Kelly came in here and you start watching. Listen, like, this dude's really freaking smart.
Yeah.
Like, how much can I learn of
He's
him?
a Hall of Fame coach.
Brian even said it. Like, he was talking with Schlegston on my show, and he's like, I honestly was wishing Chip was going to be here for 2 years. He's like, I feel like there was still some more I could get out of there.
Him,
You know, and that's why, like, that's maturity, and that comes with age. You know, and it just comes with wisdom and experience. And so I'm
and then now it's all on his shoulders. So, I mean, there's coming a little bit more of that laser focus because, you know, I got what I got, but he's not here anymore. It's on me. Let's go do this.
What I think you also have to take from that experience 2 years ago. It's like it's not going to be easy. And sometimes, you know, you're going to have setbacks along the way. And, again, it is the response to that, but also maybe some self-awareness from Brian Hartline that, all right, they're right. I guess I wasn't ready for this right now. And 2 years later, he does know a lot more things about organization and appreciating the run game and all those other it's a million things. It's not something that we can even really describe, but you sense it from him, that change that Berm is talking about.
You know, it's funny. I'm trying to think what realm I heard this in, like the exact time frame. But someone goes, "When you think you're ready, wait another year." And it's like, and that's almost always true.
Marriage.
He probably thought he was ready. What'd you say?
He said marriage.
Marriage. That's
save a lot of people.
I don't know if that was the kid, the category that it fell under.
It's not the advice that you're looking for heading into.
But
into the wedding season.
It might be true. It might be true on that. But I think that was it. Like, you think you're ready and you don't know what you don't know. And anybody will tell you that in just about any walk of life. Like, oh, I thought I could do this. And I realized after I sat in the big chair, like, that was a lot harder.
I wasn't really ready for this.
Yes, Ryan, that. Like, and it's like, dude, you learn something new every day. I was talking to Ross Bjork. What have you learned in the first year? He's like, wow, you know, I'm still learning new things every day. Every day. He's like, I've been at Ole Miss and I've been at Texas A&M. He's like, it's a big job, and you learn a little bit more each and every day. And I always say that is the mark of someone who is going to be great at what they do. Like, because you listen to Jim Tressel talk about stuff like this, like, he's never done learning. We can always learn more. Always find a way to get better.
Well, that's your lieutenant governor for you.
It is.
That is.
So, Iron Claw.
What is the Iron Claw?
Oh,
So the Iron Claw is a move where you put the finishing move, hand to the temple.
You haven't seen the movie. Obviously. You don't watch movies.
He doesn't watch
Oh, is this the one with
Zac Efron?
Oh no, I was thinking of the old guy who was a wrestler.
Oh, Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke.
That's called The Wrestler. Iron Claw.
It's on the nose for
so
that.
I remember
It's the saddest movie of all time.
I feel like The Wrestler was pretty sad.
The Wrestler's also in that thing. Where
okay.
It's in that realm. $1 Million. Have you seen $1 Million Baby?
Yeah, I mean, long time ago.
Yeah, when it came out, it has like a little Gran Torino at least has some levity at the end, so it brings you back.
Not an Iron Claw.
Have you seen A Star Is Born with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga?
I mean, that's
the
third iteration.
But I didn't see the first two, and I didn't know about them. Yeah. So it was the first one to me. I'm like, wait, no, this is not how it's going to end. This is terrible. This is tragic.
The Iron Claw. We shouldn't.
So
I mean, there's probably a lot of people out there who haven't seen it.
Listen, it came out how many?
Yeah, I mean,
years?
it's been a while.
3 years.
Right?
3 years ago.
3 years ago. So it's a group of brothers. There's actually
also it's a real family.
It's
so
true.
Based on a real
story.
It's
Not
a
a
true
story.
story.
based on a true story. They actually cut one of the brothers' lives out of it because they said his existence would make it too tragic that it wouldn't even be believable.
Yeah, because that was a 6-year-old who died by drowning in a puddle.
Yes. So in
a pothole?
He drowned as a 6-year-old
in a puddle. But there's 4 brothers left. And their dad is a big time wrestler. Like in the early stages, he creates like basically the big time wrestling in Texas.
Okay.
And so it was very regional at the time. One of the brothers is the Texas Tornado.
Kerry Von Erich.
But one of the brothers dies. They all are wrestling together. The oldest brother is the most jacked version of Zac Efron you'll ever see. He looks great. Super sexy, big, box jaw, looking strong.
Needs a different haircut.
But the dad is kind of
It
overbearing.
was the 70s. And
Yeah, it was the 70s and 80s. And so the dad's kind of overbearing, forces him into this, and kind of overlooks the top son a couple times. Second son goes, he's wrestling with Ric Flair in Japan, and he's coughing up blood, says, I'm fine. Instead of going to the doctor, which would have probably saved his life, he has a intestines burst. He dies in Japan. Texas Tornado comes back. What's his name?
Kerry Von Erich.
After one of the big wrestling deals, after he wins heavyweight champion of the world, and which his older brother is supposed to be the one. He has a Harley. He's like, I'm going to go for a ride. Rex, of course, loses his foot. He battles back with his prosthetic to be wrestling again. In the meantime, the youngest brother, who's like a great musician, all this stuff, they get him wrestling. He separates his shoulder in practice. They go to have surgery on it. Has complications. His temperature gets up to like 107, cooks his brain, so he's like not as functional as he used to be. Jeez. So he basically takes pills and offs himself. Texas Tornado, fast forward back to him. He's wrestling in WWF. Finally, they're not going to renew him. So he goes and shoots himself in the chest.
And that's the dad?
The dad is fine. The dad like is not helping through any of this. And the oldest brother was like, I just love wrestling with my brothers in the ring. And like all of them.
Wow.
See,
they all die except for the oldest one. They're all dead.
It is a brutal movie.
Sounds pretty
But again,
bad.
as somebody that has 6 older brothers, like I'm like, man, like I've told all my brothers, I'm like, I would just want you guys to watch this because everything when you have brothers,
all the connectivity with it,
like when you have like a family of brothers that's that close, it's like, man, you just like at the end they all see each other again, and it's like I'm blubbering. I'm a blubbering idiot. I've watched it 8 times. I cry every single time.
I watched it at the end as they're going across the pond to the dock, and I'm like. I just wanted to kill I wanted to kill myself at that point.
It's brutal, but it is it's
awesome.
a beautiful brutality, and I hope people watch it.
There's one son left, and he ultimately makes the decision to like sell out because they're getting gobbled up by Vince McMahon's buying basically everything up at that point. And he finds out his dad's been screwing him. He wasn't paying any of them what they should have been paid. He made a bunch of money, and the dad's like, if you sell what I gave you, don't ever step foot in this house again. And he ends up changing his kid's last name to their real name, Atkinson, not Von Erichsen, which was like the stage name they went by. And it's just like I just don't want him to have it. Like couldn't even be around his son. He's like, I don't want him to inherit the Von Erichsen curse. Like it's just,
I can understand
you're
that.
watching
awesome.
this.
It's awesome. It's brutal.
It is.
And you've watched it 8 times.
When I got back,
on
like
repeat.
I like movies that make me feel things, man.
Make you feel things.
Yeah.
When he's sitting there against the chair, leaning against the tree, shooting himself with the 357 he bought his dad after he won the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship or whatever, and his dad was like, oh, here it is. I don't care about your gift to me. Tragic is the only word to describe it, Berman. To say it makes you feel things.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there after what I watched? I had to watch Ohio State lose before that, and then I was like, let's watch a pick-me-up. Let's watch. And I went in from the Buckeye loss to that, and I wanted to. I
like brutally sad music. I like sad.
Out of all those things. And believe me, I'll put on Adam's song and drive around to it for a couple hours. I'll even listen to it for heaven's sake. Like, it's okay. Shout out Blink-182. Love it. But how about this? I literally that night, I need something positive. And I stumbled. Avengers Endgame was on. It was like 11:30. I go, I can't stay up to watch it.
Iron Man dies at the end.
I know, but at least they won.
Iron Man dies?
I went and fast forwarded to the very end and watched the final fight scene.
Yeesh. So,
spoiler alert for
I guess I won't have to start that one.
He gave his life in for something good. The Von Erichsens, they just all die. And then the one brother's left without any of his family. And his dad's a dickhead, so he can't talk to him anymore. It's terrible.
It's rough.
And then John Cena turned heel.
Real life. And then John Cena goes heel.
I'm just going to go ahead and posit that this will be the least watched episode
I had watched. No, this is going to be watched.
The history
of the life. At least it was towards the end.
I watched Interstellar. I had watched Interstellar on Friday night, which, have any of you seen Interstellar?
Is that the one with
McConaughey in space?
I haven't seen that one.
That's just a vacuum movie. You just
I was thinking
lost.
of Damon.
There was a lot there in that I was like, this is
what space is for.
I don't know if there's any. I mean, I have a list of movies I wanted to watch during football. They just get gobbled up. St. Elmo's Fire was in there, and that's not even really a pick me up either. There's a lot of sadness in that.
Can I interest you in Brian's song?
Listen, I've seen Brian's song. I mean, I'm down with a lot of sadness, but I need at least in the Avengers Endgame, they win. Someone gives their life for a cause greater than their own. So that's admirable.
Kurt Coleman told you to watch The Little Mermaid. You should have just fired that up. That would have turned your whole mood around.
Yeah.
Should have sat there, fired up a Snarfblatt, and just turned down The Little Mermaid.
I would have watched Beauty and the Beast, but I kind of feel bad for Gaston. I feel like he gets a raw deal of how he's portrayed in life.
Oh.
I mean,
That's a take.
that's
a take.
Listen,
I at least know that one.
Wowzers.
We'll unpack that at another time.
I probably identified more with
You
Gaston.
identify with him for
You
sure.
don't,
Yes.
you don't say.
You kidding me? She went for that beast?
Oh,
This guy knows the
He'd eat all
lines.
the eggs.
Oh, is that a line?
No, that's not.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
What's
you
wrong?
know.
Beast too kind and gentle to fight back as he's like knocking him off the deal. I was like, just finish him. Finish him
See,
here.
that's what you would have done on the boat years ago.
Yes.
It is.
You've
it's-
learned, but see,
See,
Gaston.
you see what I did there? I brought it
Gaston
You
did
brought it
not
back.
have that self-awareness. He never
He did.
evolved the way
He did.
Bobby
And
Carpenter.
he was too chauvinistic. Listen, Gaston is not complete evil. He had some redeeming characteristics, but
Well, no one is. Life is shades of gray, Bob.
I don't know. Like,
I'd like
dude,
to thank you all for coming to my wedding. Now I need to go in there and propose to the girl.
Von Erickson. That's a great line
That's
when he
my-
walks into the.
That's my favorite Gaston.
It
quote.
really is, dude. His unbridled arrogance is so tremendous. Like, hey, if you don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe in you?
That's a great point.
I tell people that all the time. You've got to make sure the young guys believe in yourself,
Like Gaston did.
like Gaston did. It may have ended up being his downfall too, but
May have. I think it definitely.
I just Berm.
And
the fact-
remember, not to chase after women that like to read.
that's true, exactly. 'Cause he wasn't the smartest guy
No?
either. The thing is,
that's-
Berm. Yeah, I'm glad you had seen Iron Claw because you have 6 brothers. I
That's
have
wild
3.
in itself.
And I think about all the things that my brothers and I have got to do. Like, we grew up, like, it wasn't wrestling, but it was football for us. And if my dad was a raging lunatic, like their dad, it was like, hey, such and such is struggling. I want you to keep an eye on him. And
Nope.
then he lets him just kill himself in the front yard. Like, while you're there, like, hey, he called you, not me. Like, I mean, what? Like, it's wild. Like, to see that. I can't even imagine.
It's bad.
It's
But great. Thanks,
So
everyone.
Yeah,
there
there we
is
go.
going to be football for us to talk
At
about
least I don't have to watch that movie now.
next week.
They've got,
Spring
they've
practice
got a
is-
young Ric Flair in there,
They do
Nature
have-
Boy in training.
That's a tough
Oh,
tough casting.
it really
right
is. Who
there.
wants to be the
Gotta be the Nature Boy.
20-year-old Ric Flair?
Limousine riding, jet flying, Rolex wearing, $1 million
boy.
son of a gun.
Watch an old boy lose it in the ring and just basically try to kill him in there.
Woo! All right. Yeah, so spring ball starts next week.
Time to go.
There we go.
We're going to talk a lot more about football then, and if you made it to this point, thank you. If not, you don't have to hear
And
me
we're sorry.
apologize anyway. Thanks to the entire staff at Roosters on Henderson Road. Great to be back in here with the team. Glad that they had a great Buckeye cruise for cancer. Thanks to Justin Zwick and Bobby Carpenter for their time, and Jeremy Birmingham, as always, for hanging out and bringing – you kind of kept us on the straight and narrow for the second half of
Tried.
the show. I don't know how that happened, but that's a new one. I'm Austin Ward. Be back in Roosters next week as we talk about Ohio State spring football. This is a fun, casual joint. We'll see you next time.